Let's go across to a technical expert. Dr. cknarayan, MD of Growth Avenues, joins us now on the phone line. Dr. Narayan, good morning. What is the strategy on the Nifty this morning, given the weak global cues?
I think global cues are indicating lower open, as you rightly said, and with not too many positions built up. I think maybe yesterday, such a dull day yesterday, I don't think people really built up too many longs. I think there would be a focus on trying to short this market. It is early in the new clearing yet, so I think position build-up will not be very much. And alongside, there may be a little bit of unwinding of longs also, which would both combine to probably press the Nifty down. I think a journey towards 8,300 on the Nifty futures seems to be quite likely. There might be a little bit of support at about 8,325, 8,330, which has acted as a decent support in the past. So we may have to check the progress of the Nifty on the downside somewhere there. But if that were to break, I would think 8,285 to 8,300 on Nifty futures would be the target. On the upside, I really wouldn't want to think bullish unless the Nifty is able to clear 8,415, 8,420 in a decisive manner and sustain above that.
Okay. Hi CK, good morning. So the first support level would emerge around that 8,300 mark, give or take, 10-15 points on the upside. Which are the stocks which are inherently looking strong, and therefore if we do see a dip, you would recommend, traders to go ahead and build long positions in them, at least for the near term?
Well, I think it's slightly tricky now to build long positions because no trends are really lasting much more than a couple of days. So those who are desirous of building long positions should probably remember that they need to be quite proactive with their position and not, lean back and wait for it to deliver. So I think in that context, I would say the Adani twins are doing pretty well, Adani Ports and Adani Enterprise. I think these are stocks that I would look to buy on a dip. I think UPL has fared pretty decently, but then it has hit a resistance. So on a pullback to somewhere around 325, 330 levels, I would most certainly take a look at the UPL. I would take a look at Asian Paints because anything which is oil derivative based should have, let's say, a positive fallout from the declining oil prices. So Asian Paints in the region of 765, 770, I think would make a decent buy for me.
Okay, fair enough. So these are the stocks that you would buy on a dip. But what about any shorting opportunities in the market, Dr. Narayan? Anything that you would short this morning itself?
Well, I think anything which is holding oil inventory, oil-related stocks which are holding inventory would be a short. So I would definitely look at OMC stocks to short. I would look at metals to remain under pressure. This ordnancing is coming and going, but it doesn't seem to be having the same kind of impact on metal stocks as people believed it would. So I think metal may also remain under pressure. So metal stocks, oil stocks are the ones I would short.
Dr. Narayan, do you think that the Nifty fall might be arrested today, or do you think this weakness could continue? Basically I'm trying to say, what does your gut tell you? Are we likely to even break that 8250 mark and head a lot lower?
I would rather rely on my charts rather than on my gut.
So what do the charts tell you about the medium, the next,
okay.
1 week or so?
Yeah. So I think, inherently there doesn't seem to be anything wrong in our shorts. This entire weakness is an import from overseas, and a lot of it is actually tied to the oil prices. At about $49.5, $50 to a barrel, I think crude, NYMEX crude has a decent support there. Now, how much of consensus builds around that round figure level remains to be seen. But I think the entire, let's say, downtrend is, I think, dependent on oil. And if that were to improve, global markets would actually stop reeling the way they are, and that would have a positive impact. So there isn't any cue from local. I would watch overseas markets. I would watch the dollar and oil for knowing when to cut my shorts here or when to go long here.
Okay. You did mention that you're facing, or rather you're noticing resistance at that 84.15 odd level. For the January series, Dr. Narayan, do you think that this could be a series where we make lower tops and lower bottoms?
It does seem to be poised that way. I don't think till the budget we have anything very significant. Unless the government really goes slam bang, that's a different story. But let's say barring that or not giving weightage to that, I don't see any positive cues which should spur the markets much higher. So I would expect a range-bound situation for Jan as well as for February series, at least halfway into the Feb series when the budget frenzy could actually take over.
What are the charts of the Bank Nifty telling you? Because it still managed to hold on to the 19,000 level.
Yeah, absolutely. That has been a complete outperformer, and the way news flow continues in the banking space, it's very clear that the outperformance is going to persist. Actually, it is the Bank Nifty which is holding the Nifty aloft. Most of the other counters in the Nifty actually are a bit adrift. So I think the positivity in banks should continue to remain as long as the news winds keep blowing. And they seem to be blowing consistently and rather positively. So I think Bank Nifty would sustain and probably try to make it even higher, even as a solo effort without the backing of the other sectors also.
So if we do see a rebound in the markets at some point later today, are there any banking stocks that you would buy at current levels?
Well, let's say the PSE banks are the ones which are being favored. If you see the data, PSE banks had the highest gain in 2014, but they are still significantly away from the high that the PSE bank index made back in 2008. So there is room in the public sector banks for further gains, and that is where most of the news flow is also concentrated. But the big boys are all in the private sector banks, so there will be a selective run. I think public sector banks, a select few, and in the private sector bank, a select few. It's not going to be a slam bang advance in all the bank stocks.
Okay, one final question on Infosys. What's the build-up as well as what are the charts suggesting about Infosys ahead of its earnings?
I think over time the interest in Infi has actually gone down vis-a-vis the results. So this time should be a little different because they've changed the timing. I don't see any particular, let's say, bullish build-up happening in any of the IT majors. In fact, it could be a little otherwise because all of them have shown slight bearish pattern over the short term and not really been able to come back from those. So I'm not too sanguine about prospects of IT companies. Now, whatever they announce, if it catches the market by surprise, I think there may be an upside. Otherwise, it might actually drift down along with the rest.
All right, Dr. Narayan, we leave it at that. Thanks for joining us and giving us a quick take on what the trend could look like. So 8285 to 8300 is what he'll be watching on the downside, and on the upside, 8415 could be a firm resistance for the Nifty.